Hello guys, today we're going to take a look at some old footage of the Scania R620 build. From looking at the date stamp, this footage is from 2015 and I'm not sure why I never uploaded it to YouTube, but I've done the editing now, so hopefully you'll find it interesting. Hello guys, back looking at the Scania R620 again this week. In the last episode we added all these lights and kind of sorted out the wiring for most of the lights on the upper half, like the cab that comes off like this. So with most of that sorted, so today I'm going to take a look at the inside of this half of the model and try and get some of this mess of wires sorted out, see if we can't get rid of most of them. Just like the cab, I have way too many wires coming out everywhere and I don't really know what any of them do. I really have no idea why there are so many wires, because there should only be the lights on the back of the cab, the power and signal wires for the servos, and the motor wires. So why I have so many wires in here, I have absolutely no idea, but we're going to have to sort that out. I guess what I should do is start taking off the different little panels, see if I can figure out where all these wires are going to. Might help me figure out what I need and what I don't need. Well, some of these wires aren't even connected to anything, they've been cut. There's voltage regulators that aren't needed. I'm just going to cut it. I'll cut this off here for start. I'll cut it here at the joint. Okay, well, let's start off. This is the voltage regulator there. Don't need that anymore. That was the socket I had for the 7.4 volt battery. That was the voltage regulator, probably 3.3 volts. Don't think it says on it, but that might have been 3.3 volts for the Arduino, or no, for the XP, to make sure that it didn't get an over voltage and damage that, because the XP is 3.3 volt sensitive. That's obviously the servo for the fifth wheel there. See, ground wire for the servo, and the other servo, steering servo. Inside one of these heat shrunk things that I had here, I found this transistor and some resistors here. So that was either for the brake lights or maybe an indicator, but if there's only one of them, it must be just the brake lights. So I'll rewire that and I'll probably reduce the current and put bigger resistors so that the brake lights are dimmer, but they won't need a transistor then. Okay, that's a lot of the mess up here sorted out. We were just down to mostly the wires for the servos, and there's about 3 or 4 wires coming from the rear of the model here, but I don't know if I have the resistors in the back of the model here for the LEDs, so I'm going to need to check that out so that I don't damage the LEDs. And it looks like there is no resistors on any of those LEDs, so I need to provide them at the other end of the model. I just noticed here, looks like this ground wire was cut, and this wire here looks to be kind of damaged too, so I must have damaged that when I took it apart and put it back together at some point. But anyway, we must have 2 wires for brake lights and 2 for indicators, and then a common ground. Okay, I wired the tail lights up, I fixed the ground, and I've added a 120 ohm resistor for the tail lights, and I think that looks okay. I think that's about 15 milliamps is what that's going to draw, so that's well under the limit for the Arduino, so no need for a transistor for that. The indicators, I'll bring them up and I'll wire them to the ones in the front, and maybe just use the one indicator or the one resistor for both indicators. One thing I think I'll do this time is cut this axle here for the steering a good bit shorter, because at the minute I have to lift the cab up and over and slot it down on top of the axle, but I think what I'll do is cut that short so that I can just kind of let the front of the cab just kind of hinge forward there, and when I need to change the wiring in here, it'll be a little bit easier, I think. I've wired the motor driver, the Arduino and the NRF together just to try and make it a little bit easier when I go to mount all the wires in the model. I don't have a 3.3 volt Arduino, so I'm just using 2 diodes in series to try and drop the voltage. So hopefully that'll work out. I did that in the Scania R620S and that seems to be working fine. So I'll try it on this and see how that works out. But normally I'd use a 3.3 volt regulator, but I just want to try and get the lorry up and running for the show in Castleblayney. Okay, well I wired the little board up to the motor and to the steering servo so that we could see if the radio was actually working before I got too far into it. And you can see the steering seems to be working alright. Sticking a little bit, but I'll need to do something about that. We also have drive, nice slow control, and flat out it's really fast, but I'm not going to do that on the table. But that perfect kind of slow control is what I couldn't do with the previous version of this, so we have that fixed. That's the main thing. At this point in the original video, I obviously ran out of time and I did the outro and everything. I said I'd ran out of time, and I obviously recorded more footage later on in the week because I have another few minutes of footage from another video, but I don't think it's enough for a whole other video. So I'll just splice everything into one now and we'll just continue. Hello guys, so last week I had to leave this build. I had just got the Arduino and the motor driver, the NRF module all installed. We were able to test it out with the steering and test the drive motor out. Also the brake lights, I'm not sure if I showed that, but they were working too. So today I'm hoping to finish off, hope to finish the whole model, but what I have to do is wire up the lights on the front of the model and also to sort out this rear piece with the power switch on it. There's an LED in here that's broken, I'm pretty sure. One of them, if I remember correctly, before I dismantled it, one of these LEDs wasn't working. So I need to sort that out. So like I said in the last video, I'm going to try and wire it so that I can have the cab down like this and lift it up into place when I'm ready to put the model together. So I'm very close now. I just need to make these wires to the lights on the front here long enough so that when I bring the cab up I'll be able to wire them all in place and put the cab back together. I'd say that'll be pretty boring, so I'll just wire everything up here, and if anything interesting comes up along the way I'll record that. Well, I guess nothing interesting came up because that's the end of the footage from 2015. The next video I have is recorded in 2019, so I'm going to take that and put it into a video on its own. It's a kind of a different mode. I've got rid of the Arduino that I had in this video and I'm replacing it with one of the new tractor boards. So I think that's different enough that it deserves its own video, and I think there's a good bit of footage to go through there. Well, that's all from this video. So if you like the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and get the bell on. I have a little bit more old footage to get through, but I have a few other projects that I'm working on as well, so hopefully there'll be a bit of a mix of both as we go along. As always, if you want to discuss the video, you can head down to the comments below the video or head over to the forum on the website www.rctractorguy.com. But that's all I have for you today, so thanks very much for watching.